Hello, Indivisible. How are you this evening? My name is Latasha Palmer, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be endorsed by Indivisible. Y'all have been out at the doors for me already, putting in so much great work and trying to spread this message for this campaign, so thank you so much. So what makes me the best candidate? So I am the most progressive woman of color in the race. I am somebody who puts people and planet before profit, which means I am not accepting any kind of corporate donations. And I am the only candidate who is ready to govern on day one. Now, why do I think I'm ready to govern on day one? So last year, I had the privilege of serving over 100 hours on the Charter Review Committee for Tacoma. And what that allowed me to do was learn how the council functions and how it does not function. And since then, I've been able to regularly engage with my council members and at council meetings on a normal basis. So what is the charter? So you can kind of think of it as the city's constitution. It talks about the structures and powers and functions that the city government can do. On the Charter Review Committee, we were tasked to talk to elected officials and do a lot of public outreach to get to learn what people were interested in and how we could change the charter to help more folks and suit our city better. And we put those all together in recommendations and put those in front of the council. So I spent my time on that committee pushing for really progressive changes, and I'm happy to say that towards the end of that process, most of the folks in that committee were behind me and were all in and approved those changes to go onto that draft that went in front of the city council. Now, how did I win their approval? So approval for things like a more inclusive and more powerful commission, planning commission and climate commission, and more empowered neighborhood councils. Well, the first thing was I brought what I had learned from the past, right? I had attended Columbia University, and there I found out that thoughtful urban planning and sustainable practices just naturally led to things like improved public safety, creating and protecting jobs, and empowering public engagement. The next thing I did was listen. When you're bringing interesting new ideas, people are going to have questions, right? And so we had questions from the elected officials, from my committee members, from the public, on things like, hey, how's this transition going to work to a more equitable election platform? And so I addressed questions like that with research and with care. And then the final thing that I did, and is probably the most impactful thing I did, was I told my story. I made sure people understood why I was there and the fact that I did not have a choice to be there and to fight for systemic change. My children and I have lost people that have been very important to us, our loved ones, from broken systems like education, health, immigration, and housing systems. But when we submitted our recommendations, we quickly observed that the council system has become comfortable and willing to accept the status quo, even when it doesn't seem like those things are working. And mostly because these things have been gift wrapped behind closed doors in a way from an unelected city manager. So I am running because no one else in this race has been put through such an immersive training as this. I am the only one in the race to have had their backbone tested when it comes to people first progressive changes. And I am the only one in this race who is ready to govern boldly against federal overreach from day one. So please, thank you, Indivisible, and elect me to be your bold, progressive, transparent voice on the council. My name is Latasha Palmer.